Welcome to the Freelance Unlocked Behind the Scenes series, where I'm showcasing the amazing people who will be at Freelance Unlocked Conference, the first and the best conference for freelancers that is made with love, and it will take place in Berlin on May 14th, 15th, 2025. If you are a freelancer in Europe, it's an event made for you to learn, exchange experiences, and build your network of great freelancers and experts who move the freelance economy forward. So go to freelanceunlocked.com and grab your ticket right away. My name is Yuri, I'm a community builder at Freelance Unlocked, and my guest is Bertrand Rothen, a freelance senior product manager with over 10 years of successful experience across multiple industries and functions. So, hello, Bertrand.
Hi, Yuri. Nice to speak with you again.
Always happy to talk to you. I had so many conversations, but all online. It's time to fix it very soon at Freelance Unlocked. Still,
100%.
Even though I know almost all about it, tell me a little bit about your freelance journey.
That's right. So I started in 2019, so I've been almost freelancing for 6 years now. In short, I always wanted to freelance. I always revered this idea of doing my own thing, and was much more interested in that over following the corporate ladder or something like that. And then after quitting a job that was just wrong for me, I felt that although I wasn't super sure that I was ready, I just needed to try and give it a shot. And then almost 6 years later, here I am. And I'm still enjoying it. So
what is your secret? How can you still enjoy it?
I guess you need to find the enjoyment in the pace of it. I definitely think it's a very personal decision, and I do understand why some people would also opt into employment. I think it is a personal decision, but I would wish for everyone to be able to try both and then just decide on what suits you better. I don't think everyone has gained that experience. So that would be, I guess, my recommendation to everyone, to just try out both and then make an informed choice, basically.
So give me a sneak peek into what you'll be talking about on the Freelance Unlocked stage.
Sure. So in short, I wanted to provide a bit of a counterweight to all the talk centered around growing your business on or with LinkedIn, because LinkedIn, of course, definitely isn't everything. And given that I'm now almost 6 years in, I just like to share my observations and my takes on that complex of topics. Just to be clear, I'm not speaking to sell anyone a course or a product or a guide. Not there's anything wrong with that in general, but I mainly beside, of course, positioning myself, I wanted to actually give back to the community. I profited from other people's expertise when I started, and I'm hoping that what I'll share will be, useful to especially newer freelancers, but also maybe routine ones who feel like they're a little bit out of exercise on the subject.
In the talk description, you mentioned that it's becoming harder to stand out on LinkedIn. So I'm curious, what do you think is the number one biggest challenge freelancers face there today?
Oh, where to start? There are so many things. Well, for freelancers in particular, it's that LinkedIn isn't built for freelancers. They make substantial revenue from large companies recruiting, and those mostly look for permanent employees. So that's why LinkedIn has little features for freelancers. And the other platforms, like Freelancer Map and so on, do exist. Also, from my perspective, overall, there are two sides to LinkedIn. There's the contact directory part. It's kind of like a Rolodex. Like, you've got the profiles, you've got the messaging, and then there's also the social media or content part. And both of them have their issues. But while the content directory part does provide quite some value, the content part is largely a crapshoot and heavily overestimated. And I'll definitely elaborate on that in my talk.
Yeah, I can feel that that the platform is made for full-time employees, because every time that you see any projects, mostly, yeah, there is some, like, you can put it like as contract or freelance, but it's like, I don't know, like what percentage of it, but still it feels like it's a little bit of different approach. You know, you kind of like showcasing yourself in a content part and then hope that clients will see you and hope
Mm.
that clients will notice you and maybe even message you. So I'm curious, what are some alternatives or maybe some networking strategies that worked for you really well?
Sure. So I don't want to give away too much, of course, but at the heart of it, it was my realization over the time that, even more than in other areas, freelancing is definitely a people business. It's because it's your name and your reputation, you own the entirety of it. And it's, more important to reach the right people than to reach as many as possible. So there are a couple of strategies that make sense following this assessment. I guess some people can already guess in which direction I'm heading with this, but they all focus on individual direct connections. Yeah, human centered.
So, without giving too much away, do you have some specific platforms, communities, or maybe events that are powerful for freelancers to make these human connections? Because it's not that easy, you know, you have to start somewhere.
Mm. So, I mean, I would say, I'm not sure if this is something that is under people's radar, if it's underrated or something, but I do think that, communities such as Uplink or Code Control, 9am, are probably underutilized by many. Also, probably including myself. I could probably do more with it. And especially also meetups, and other in-person, in real life events, just because of the focus and the connection you achieve from these will always just be more valuable than anything that's digital and spread, and anything that you just communicate out, that you broadcast. And it is due to the nature of just the amount of tracks and the amount of focus, that you will just derive much more value from these, I would say, brief moments in time in which there is a rather singular focus. Um, and it is definitely, of course, tricky. It's not something that is, or let me put it this way: the challenges that you have with broadcasting and with establishing one-on-one connections are, of course, very different from each other, but they're both challenges. Um, but yeah, I definitely, of course, I'm going to focus on, the latter side of it, and I do think that, of course, COVID has, impacted the development of this quite significantly. But I remember, since I did start in 2019, that, back then I would just go to a lot of meetups, and it would be great because I just met a lot of like-minded people, a lot of different people also, and established these connections that would, of course, be not huge numbers, but it would be valuable on its own. And that is definitely also how I got certain jobs.
How do you maintain those connections? Because establish it's one part, but when you meet in more and more and more people, it's getting harder to keep in contact and continue going. So how do you maintain them?
That is definitely a tough one. It is definitely an effort that will be an active one. So you need to basically think of yourself as a contact relationship manager as well. You'll need to, I don't know, an ideal a case, generate a list of people, maybe able to segment that list by, what do you share with that person? What is the intent of maintaining contact with that person? So you can definitely do this more professionally than just kind of, reaching out to people and seeing what sticks. Because I mean, if you find a good connection with someone, it's just going to come up, again and again. You're just going to stay in touch, kind of naturally, kind of intuitively. Um, but I think it kind of depends on how deep you want to go with that, or how much you feel like it actually benefits yourself, and how much time you can and want to invest in it. But I would definitely urge everyone to think of maintaining, not just establishing new relationships. That's what a lot of people think about. They always think they have to meet new people, they have to establish new relationships, but maintaining the valuable ones is probably even more difficult because at some point it's going to feel like you're re-engaging. Sometimes people may even unfortunately forget about you. Um, so it is definitely as is meeting new people is a concerted and conscious effort. Maintaining these relationships kind of also is.
By the way, I recently read the book Give and Take by Adam Grant, and it was a very good
Mm.
moment there about dormant connections. So when you are reaching out to someone you've connected a long time ago, it's kind of even better than creating a new connection, but it also feels like creating a new connection. But when you are reaching out to this dormant connection, this person knows you. You already have some history, and it's kind of like getting better feedback from that side. That, for example, if you are meeting someone new. So I feel like, if
Mm.
you have a list of like, I don't know, 100 people you've connected some long time ago, maybe it's good to go through this list and like re-engage with them instead of just trying to find new people to connect to. I don't know, maybe. Need to try. Did you try something like that?
So I wouldn't say I'm doing everything I can. It's far from it. Actually, this is one of the things that I plan on just doubling down on this year. But I do have a few things that I do, which I'm going to share in my talk, obviously, um, that I continually do to maintain relationships and just kind of to check in with people, not regularly, but I have a plan around it, and um, it has proven to be valuable. Um, I wouldn't say, it's of course it's a numbers game as everything is. So not every time you reach out to someone who you've been in touch with for a while, you'll develop new business from it. But it does happen. And of course, it it also it's a very good way. Everyone talks about compounding, your efforts, right? Like how do you develop something that grows maybe even passively off what you continually do. And I think that's a good example of actually compounding, is to be just in constant contact and checking in with people again and again, and just seeing also how the connection evolves. And if you play your cards right, then people will definitely see you grow as well, and have a higher esteem of you as a professional peer, and that can definitely pay very large dividends, of course.
And it's always important to stay on top of mind. So totally. And for
Most definitely.
someone who listens this conversation now, what is one crucial step to take to grow their freelance network beyond LinkedIn?
Um, so first of all, focus less on posting. You're largely wasting your time. I'm not saying don't post at all, but definitely focus less on it. I've seen so many people talk about the art and science supposedly of posting on LinkedIn, and uh, again, also I'll elaborate in my talk. But next, I would honestly say, I mean, and this is of course something that sounds easy to say, difficult to do, but doesn't make it less valid, is try to schedule minimum 2 calls per week with anyone you either can provide value to, or that can provide value to you. Ideally, of course, there's something in for the both of you. This can be prospects or peers or recruiters. And I know millennials hate being on the phone. I did too, and still kind of do. But freelancing has taught me, let's say, the art of doing phone calls routinely and without anxiety. So, that's definitely at least that's the minimum thing you're going to get out of it.
I feel like that's a whole different topic of the conversation. I would really love to jump into this rabbit hole, but I wish to have the sky as a limit, but time is a limit. So the final question, what is your quick take on the freelance economy and how it will develop in the near future?
So, yeah, I feel like we're definitely in unsure times at the moment. So my answer is less straightforward than it would have been, let's say, 2 years ago. But especially with the accelerated change of everything in business driven by AI related advancements, I nevertheless expect the freelance economy to grow. As with legacy knowledge becomes more dispensable, and the ability to adapt and to react to change becomes more indispensable, which is often driven by freelancers. And while some freelance segments, like copywriting and design, will definitely stagnate or shrink in market size to some degree, others will grow. And I'm not just talking about the amount of AI consultants out there, but also just small shops, people building their own software, building their own services, using, for instance, AI assisted coding. So I think we are definitely, again, in uncertain times, but I do think there's a lot of potential as well. So I'm, mid to long term, I'm hopeful.
What would you say to your friends if they asked you whether they should go to the Freelance Unlocked?
So you should definitely go because, first of all, my talk is going to be as entertaining as I can make it. But also, because you'll be able to connect with a bunch of peers and maybe even prospects. A lot of great people will be in attendance. Also, just really honestly, for a conference of this size and magnitude, the ticket is a really good deal. A bunch of great talks are lined up. The organization was top notch last year, so I'm expecting no less for this year. And the venue is also great. So all in all, just an honest recommendation. If this is at all pertinent to you, definitely show up.
3 out of 3, you are going to the next round. And even before that, what is the best way to connect with you?
The best way is probably, ironically, through LinkedIn, but only the DMs. Of course, also email. Both of that works fine. And then, we can take it from there. Yeah, that's it.
Got it, Bertrand. Thank you so much for sharing your experience even before the conference. And I can't wait to finally meet you in person and learn even more from you there.
Yes, likewise.
And for those who listen, I hope you learn from Bertrand's experience and say thank you to him in person at the Freelance Unlocked Conference on May 14th, 15th, 2025 in Berlin. Go to freelanceunlocked.com, grab your ticket, and meet you there.